Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Looking to make a positive change? Sober October is the perfect time to be more mindful about your alcohol consumption. Whether you're aiming to cut back or take a complete break, October offers a great opportunity to experience the benefits like improved sleep, reduced stress, and a boost to your mental health. Join Hearts for Minds and discover a world of delicious non-alcoholic options with a free ebook, Mocktails with Meaning, featuring curated recipes from expert mixologists to help you celebrate mindfully. It's easy to incorporate non-alcoholic drinks into your social life and enjoy the same flavors and fun without the alcohol. So this October, raise a glass to your well-being. Join the movement, support Hearts for Minds, and discover the joy of mindful drinking. Check out the free ebook at heartsforminds.org and in our show notes. Hey there, new friend. We are so glad you found Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast for women over 50. What started as a passion project has grown into a beautiful and supportive community, and we couldn't be more grateful. Would you like to help us cover the costs of producing and growing this amazing sisterhood? When you join our Uncluttered and Unfiltered bonus club on Patreon for just $5 a month, you'll have early bird access to commercial-free video versions of our episodes, plus plenty of bonus content and some other surprises along the way. Check our show notes for a link to our Patreon and to our always free ladies-only private Facebook group. And thank you for being here.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back. With nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome, everybody, to another bonus edition of Uncluttered and Unfiltered. We're going to talk Golden Bachelor, and we want to specify that this is a bonus episode because some people might be finding us because we talk about the Golden Bachelor and then be surprised to learn that most episodes of this show are not about the Golden Bachelor. These are just little extra add-ons for those who are watching it. So we're here at episode number, what is it, 4?
4.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Christine, you and I watched it. Hello. You and I watched it. We have to do these on the phone because we're not together on Fridays. And right. I can't ever watch live on Wednesdays. So I was able to watch it yesterday. You watched it as it went down.
Yes, I watched it yesterday morning. Due to hurricane situation going on, some of mine got cut off, but just like a couple minutes because they broke in for weather.
That's what we were thinking too. I was like, do we need to switch to Hulu or what? But our local meteorologist, Tim Deegan, did not stay on too long.
No, but he did cut out a minute of, I think it was Gary, the ER guy. No, the ER guy.
Yeah.
The ER guy. So I missed a little bit of that. But that being said, I didn't need to see it because I have enough to say on what I did see.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the group date of Striptease 101 with the Chippendales. Not just any Chippendales, but they brought in some OG 50-year-old Chippendale dancers. What did you think of that whole group?
First of all, my first instinct was when I saw the look on all the poor men's faces, you think when you get to a certain place in your life, you don't have to do ridiculous things like that, especially when it comes to your body. Yeah, there was the one guy who was in amazing shape. Which one was
Jonathan.
he? Oh, Jonathan. But other than that, I just thought, really, is that who she is, or is that just a Bachelor Nation thing that the Bachelor people came up with? I just thought that was probably one of the most ridiculous, silly, dumb things I've ever seen for people of that age.
Loved it. I loved every second of it. I thought it was the best thing they could have done for those guys. Yes, because I felt like if any one of them would have wanted to keep their clothes completely on, they probably would have been allowed to honor that. But, and only because these are guys that have signed up to be on the Golden Bachelorette. Like, it's not, they didn't go randomly down the street and pull these people.
But did they sign up for this, though?
I think when you
signed up for the gold. I don't know about that.
I thought it was great.
At our age, would you want to do that
No.
on the Golden Bachelor? So you signed up to go on the Golden Bachelor, but now you have to be in a bikini or on a stripper pole? I'm sorry. If you're going to switch it around.
I see your point. I do. I see that point for sure. It's very exploitive. It's very difficult to imagine they would ever think of it for the women.
But what about the men that aren't in good shape? I think deep down inside, they were just really self-conscious, and I don't think that this is what that's about.
What I liked about it was that they were able to show personality. We got to see what character they would pick, how open and fun they were, and then, of course, because they tied it into Stand Up to Cancer, that was their way of being like, we can be gross, and it's for charity. So I felt like that was a little manipulative, of course.
Exactly. I loved that they were at least doing it for charity. That I did love. I just think that's not a way for her to get to know them even more, especially on a group date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there would have been so many other ways for her to get to know them other than seeing them strip in a silly way for her. But it's a TV show. I hear what you're saying. So it's a TV show.
It did drive home a point to me that I've been saying all along. Jonathan, I think, has narcissist written all over himself. I don't believe his pity me, I'm invisible routine at all after I saw him strip down to just the banana hammock. Like that he does not strike me as somebody who is self-conscious
He looks
at
like
all.
he was a real male nude dancer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he looks like he has done this before.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of his whatsoever.
Not at all.
But with that being said, we need to get into the rest of this because
Yes.
I'm not really a big fan of I don't know. I'm not a big fan right now of Jones, and I'm just going to say it. I'm going to throw it out there. She is not who I thought she was, and I think this show is so depressing.
I think it is beyond depressing. It is so depressing. She has so much guilt. There's so much to pick apart here. So let's first of all say this. If I asked you to fix up a friend with any of those guys, let's say these guys are all different people that your husband knows, because there was one guy I said something about when we did the look at the guys without knowing anything about them, the pictures and the bios. And I said, on one of them, I said, this is the guy that all the dudes are going to think is a great person for you to fix your friend up with, but you're going to know better because you just know. And it was Chalk. And to me, Chalk is like that guy that everybody is going to be like, what a great guy. But women see through him, I think. What do you think about Chalk?
I'm not a fan of Chalk. They wanted to make a drama about him leaving and coming back. And also he thought he could bond with her over being sad and death. And I just think the whole thing is so depressing. And I forgot that I was supposed to be watching this for the podcast, and I got up to go leave something to eat.
You're like, this does not work.
Without pausing it or anything. You know what I mean?
It didn't even have you that. And, yeah, you were like, I can move about the cabin freely. This is not that interesting.
But I forgot, and I had to run back in and pause it and go, I'm supposed to be paying attention here, but it was that boring to me and that sad and I think picking her, they made a huge mistake.
Well,
she is not ready for love. She's not ready to be with anyone, and she won't pick anyone.
Let me ask you about this conversation, because I wonder if it struck you the same way it struck me. Chalk and Joan are talking, and she talks about how she wasn't there when her husband passed. She was in the other room, and she thought he was taking a nap. She went into the other room and came back, and she never stopped feeling guilty about it. And Chalk's over there, hey, I left to go be on the Golden Bachelorette. And he's trying to compare their guilt. Like, feeling guilty because you left to go be on the Golden Bachelorette is not the same as feeling unnecessary guilt for leaving the literal bedroom where your husband was passing away. It's just, I'm not
a Chalk fan. I'm glad some of the guys that are out now are out. Mark, the one whose daughter was on the Bachelorette or whatever she was on, one of the Bachelor ones, I do like him because he seems the most normal to me. He seems the most legitimate to me. I think he knows how to play the game, though, because of his daughter.
Probably,
and,
yeah.
But he seems the most, like if I were going to pick someone for her, it would be him, just because he seems a bit normal. But I don't think she's ready for love. I don't think she's going to end up picking anybody. And I think at the end she'll just be crying all the time. And I just think they could have picked someone at our age who really wants to spend the remaining years of her life with someone who really wants to be with somebody.
Yes, I think that it is going to end with her not picking anybody. I agree with you. I don't think that's, my husband also feels like that's going to, and I'm still watching with him, by the way, and his commentary is the best because one thing about Chalk, he keeps saying he's so handsy. Like it really bothered him the way Chalk was so touchy-feely with her, even though even Jordan slipped her the tongue last night.
I know. And let's talk about Jordan for a minute.
Yes.
And the ice skating date. Another silly,
yes,
ridiculous idea at our age to get a man out there who's never ice skated, who's not into it, to fall and almost break his back. Like, I almost feel like they're being mean on purpose.
That's the other thing my husband said when he watched it. He goes, this is preposterous. And then he fell on his elbows, and I have sore elbows from a fall I had 3 weeks ago, and they're still so sore. I'm like, his elbows probably still hurt him now, and this was probably recorded 6 weeks ago or more.
I just think there was no chemistry there. We had to hear about how his wife cheated on him, which
yeah.
I just feel like even bringing that up, move on with your life. Why do we have to hear that backstory? The whole Aria Speedwagon and the setting, it was beyond.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Looking to make a positive change? Sober October is the perfect time to be more mindful about your alcohol consumption. Whether you're aiming to cut back or take a complete break, October offers a great opportunity to experience the benefits like improved sleep, reduced stress, and a boost to your mental health. Join Hearts for Minds and discover a world of delicious non-alcoholic options with a free ebook, Mocktails with Meaning, featuring curated recipes from expert mixologists to help you celebrate mindfully. It's easy to incorporate non-alcoholic drinks into your social life and enjoy the same flavors and fun without the alcohol. So this October, raise a glass to your well-being. Join the movement, support Hearts for Minds, and discover the joy of mindful drinking. Check out the free ebook at heartsforminds.org and in our show notes.
Beyond
Aria
that.
Speedwagon made me a little sad, too.
I love Aria Speedwagon, but it was like they brought out the two remaining people in the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole thing, I don't see a chemistry with Jordan at all. I was shocked he got the rose.
Yeah.
But I think when you do a one-on-one date, you're obligated. One thing I am going to talk about, which I don't know if you noticed this, so I want to know what your thoughts are. I feel like I think the men are all shocked how much they loved being in a house with other men. I don't think men know how to make friends like women do. And so I really got teared up. I'm the crier of how sad they were to leave their male new friends that they made. Not so much her, by the way.
I was about to say, I feel the chemistry between the men is far stronger than it is between them and and her.
Yes. And I think it shows. One thing I did like about this one episode, it shows that men would have to get vulnerable in order to be and hang out with other men and become like really close friends. And it's not supposed to be, quote unquote, a manly thing to do that and to really enjoy living with a house full of men. But when you're our age, just like if we were all to live with a group of women like the Golden Girls, it gives you a sense of you're not alone. And I think was so important to show that men can be lonely too.
I thought the Keith and Dan moment and then they all ran out and hugged on, you would never see that on either the young version of The Bachelor or on the regular Golden Bachelor with the women, just the way they all ran out, because even with the women, there were friendships, but there were factions. These guys were like a team. They had that sports team mentality. Nobody wanted to see anyone else go. With the exception is I had a hard time thinking that anybody cared terribly much when Chalk was leaving. They were probably like, good, go. I think they were empathetic for sure, but I don't think he has anybody fooled.
And that was my favorite part of the whole show, though, was when they showed men bonding.
Yes.
And how they can be at a place in their life where they don't want to be alone, even if they're not necessarily looking for a woman. They're looking for friendships, and they're also looking for the same thing women do, which is just wanting to have fun and be with a group of people that you can have fun with and feel close with and be vulnerable with. So I did like that.
All in all, I know that there were moments where you excused yourself to go get a snacky, but for the most part, and there were some interruptions because of the storm, but for the most part, I thought this was the first of the episodes of this season that I've actually enjoyed. I really did like that. And I'm going to let myself believe, only because I'm going to put my head in the sand and believe this, that maybe the ones that were at the striptease were ones that maybe on a form they filled out, checked out would be okay, and that's why they were chosen. I don't know, but it feels to me like if they tried to pull that with the women, there would be so much pushback. But yet these guys, I don't know, I thought it didn't offend me at all. Maybe that's a double standard.
We haven't gotten to the part, though, where, is it Guy, the ER guy?
Yes.
Okay. Guy is cooking with her. He doesn't even, he doesn't know how to zest a lemon, which, okay, he's an ER doctor. He's busy. I get it. But I just feel like there was no chemistry at all between the two of them. None. I almost felt like she was annoyed with him.
You almost got a feeling like, because I know what it's like to try to cook on TV, having done it on a TV show for many years, there's no casual conversation going on when two people are trying to cook in real life for TV. Like to do those things. That was like, okay, we're going to try again. Okay, you're going to have trouble zesting. There's just no way somebody struggles that hard with the simplest of tasks if they have been in medical school and then are stitching people up, and I don't believe it.
I don't see any chemistry with Pascal either, and he, to me, is not in this for love.
He's a comic relief. He's
comic relief. He's French, so he believes in romance, but that's about it. And I think she's keeping him on because the producers told her, you need to keep one person on who has a big personality or whatever.
He's the seduction. He's like about the seduction of it. If he wins, it's because he wanted to win, not because...
I definitely don't see it. Honestly, I'm going to tell you again, I don't think she's going to pick anyone, and she's going to say it's because she loves them all and cares about them all and wants to stay close and be friends with them, but she is definitely still feeling guilty. Did you hear her routine in the morning?
Yes.
She's a routine gal like me. She gets up at a certain time. She does this at a certain time. She's at her job at a certain time. Even the guy said, oh, so you wouldn't come back into bed? No, only on the weekends. Like, she's in her world, and she's not going to share it with anyone else.
Correct. Agree. Wholeheartedly.
And I see her on TikTok a lot. I don't see her being with somebody else. I think that she did this to promote her own brand and who she is.
She's definitely living the life. She's at Dancing with the Stars constantly, and I think she's vying for a spot on that show eventually. Yep. And just I know it's an ABC property, and that's why they push all of that cross promotion, but still, I can see her wanting to ride this all the way.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of
I
fame
think
that
she wants to be like how they brought Gary back in. She wants to be that person.
Yeah.
How they had the Bachelorette on during the striptease thing, Caitlin Bristol, I think her name is. I never watched that one, but she wants to be the person they bring back on. She's in it for different reasons, and it's not love. Just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I don't know if she grew on me a little bit in this episode, but that doesn't say a lot because I was checked out on Joan early on, which I hated because I really loved her going into it. But I just didn't. She just isn't. You know what? She's just not the way we don't see the chemistry between her and the men. She's not putting that chemistry on me either as a viewer. And I think Gary,
I get no warm and fuzzies
yeah,
from her.
Gary in the beginning, he had at least 5 or 6 episodes before we started to get a little creeped out. We're not falling for her either. I don't feel like I'd meet her and instantly be like, I want to spend more time with her. Versus most of the women that were in that house with Gary, I could see hanging out with. Even that Kathy, who was the biggest wise ass ever. Most of them I felt could be really fun to hang out with, but she just seemed almost like a little too, I don't want to say perfect, but just, too rigid? Rigid.
I can't even explain it. I just feel like she's not somebody I would have picked to be the first Golden Bachelorette. Yeah. I think even if they would have interviewed new people that weren't on the last season, they would have found someone better. But I will finish watching it. I will. I've committed to this, and maybe it'll get better. Who knows for me, because I did not like this episode. Yeah. But I watched it, and I will continue to watch it.
Because you are taking one for the team.
I'm taking one for the team with this one.
All right.
Yep.
In other news, I finished Hacks. So I'm all caught up on Hacks. That is a delicious show. So if you are a woman over 50, that is primarily what our podcast is about, just being a woman over 50. Christine is a professional organizer, so you're going to oftentimes have organizational tips thrown in here and there. But for the most part, it's anything that we think of that results from us being the age we are. And quite frankly, Hacks is a great show if that's your age. You're going to love it. I think everyone should be watching it. On HBO.
Yeah, I do too. And it's so funny. So if you're like in a mood and you just want something to make you laugh, to me that show made me laugh so hard.
And I didn't know that the actress that plays Ava is Lorraine Newman's daughter from the original Saturday Night Live cast. So when she went,
I didn't know that either until you told me.
And Jean Smart hosted Saturday Night Live this week and had her there with her to introduce Jelly Roll, and I was so in awe of, because I kept reading like why that isn't so weird, and I was like so surprised because I had no idea.
Yeah, I love both of them together. Talk about chemistry.
Yes,
it's such good chemistry.
Oh my gosh,
such good chemistry. Yeah.
What a cliffhanger it ended on too. Okay, so here we are. Let's just say that this has been a fun bonus episode, and we're glad you joined us if you did. And why not check us out for our normal podcast, which is also weekly. In the meantime, I'm sticking with it too. We're not going to let it go. We're not going to let this one go and not look back, okay?
I agree. We're going to stick it out.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Looking to make a positive change? Sober October is the perfect time to be more mindful about your alcohol consumption. Whether you're aiming to cut back or take a complete break, October offers a great opportunity to experience the benefits like improved sleep, reduced stress, and a boost to your mental health. Join Hearts for Minds and discover a world of delicious non-alcoholic options with a free ebook, Mocktails with Meaning, featuring curated recipes from expert mixologists to help you celebrate mindfully. It's easy to incorporate non-alcoholic drinks into your social life and enjoy the same flavors and fun without the alcohol. So this October, raise a glass to your well-being. Join the movement, support Hearts for Minds, and discover the joy of mindful drinking. Check out the free ebook at heartsforminds.org and in our show notes. Hey there, new friend. We are so glad you found Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast for women over 50. What started as a passion project has grown into a beautiful and supportive community, and we couldn't be more grateful. Would you like to help us cover the cost of producing and growing this amazing sisterhood? When you join our Uncluttered and Unfiltered bonus club on Patreon for just $5 a month, you'll have early bird access to commercial-free video versions of our episodes, plus plenty of bonus content and some other surprises along the way. Check our show notes for a link to our Patreon and to our always free ladies-only private Facebook group. And thank you for being here.